Hey everybody, it's Lesley Dale with the TFP, and we're off Thrasher Pike here, an area you see. I just want to show you what's going on. You probably smelled the smoke, seen the haze. Shannon Gann joining us from the Tennessee Division of Forestry. Just tell people what's going on. Obviously, wildfires you can see here in an area looks like a Soddy Daisy kind of Signal Mountain, but it's what we're calling Walden's Ridge, and you see the smoke. You see the smoke off the highway, you see the smoke when you get here. If you want to explain to people what we're looking at and what you're doing about it.
We're calling this Flipper Bend, and that's what on the topography map. Ooh,
Yeah,
long day.
I know.
Topography map, it's on there. And actually we have a line around the top, and we have a line, we're working on a line on the bottom and on the sides to try to contain the fire. We are going to have a lot of smoke. That's what it's going to keep doing, just like we did with the last fire. We'll have that for a while. But right now we've got crews on top and on the bottom and some on the side. And we just got a 10-man crew come in from Nevada with the Forest Service. They were stationed at the Cherokee National Forest, and they've just come in just right now to help us. So
yeah, we're seeing it. We'll show you some of the trucks in a minute. So what happened? When did this start?
This started on Saturday,
Okay.
and it's under investigation. We're not sure yet what started it, but it started Saturday.
We were here with you just a couple of weeks ago at a different area, closer in toward Chattanooga, Signal
Yeah, just
Mountain.
about a mile.
Right. And we really haven't had much rain since we saw you then.
No, I think we've had a sprinkler too. They're not predicting any major rainfall till the end of January. So we're just asking people to please be careful. No campfires, no bonfires, no even just to roast marshmallows. Don't be doing that. It's just very, very dry. Be careful if you throw out cigarettes or anything like that, welding or anything like that. It's just the four-wheelers are setting fire. So it's just extremely dry, and there's no rain in sight.
So any of that, even the smallest source of fire, could cause a huge wildfire.
Yes, it all starts out small, and this one started out small, but we just have crews. We've got so many fires going on, have crews everywhere that we're stretched pretty thin, and so it just takes us a while to get to the fires.
Okay, so
and try to keep them out too, because it's so dry.
You have a question?
Well, I was just going to say, if you talk about some of the other fires, because we can't show them all in one shot, obviously, but there are several going on in our
Yeah, we have
region,
one
right?
Prentice Cooper. There's a fire in Prentice Cooper. There's a fire at Coppinger Cove in Marion County. We have one on Stooping Oak Road in Sequatchie County. We have one on Smith Mountain in Sequatchie County. We have the one here, obviously. And then Georgia's got fires, and I think there's another one that I'm missing off the top of my head. But
and you mentioned the resources coming in to help. Are there enough people to handle all these fires?
We're getting there. We're getting there. So we're just stretched thin, and everybody's tired. And so that's why we're asking people to be extra, extra careful. And if you see a campfire, tell someone to put it out, just to be careful.
Are there homes in jeopardy?
Not at this time. There's no homes threatened at this time. So when we had helicopters here yesterday, and we had the planes from the Forest Service that are stationed at the Chattanooga Airport, the U.S. Forest Service. And so they were here yesterday. So we're hoping to get the helicopters back again later today. They're on another fire right now in Smith Mountain.
Okay. Where's that?
It's up 111 on your right, going towards Cagle.
Okay. And you can see, like you mentioned, if we want to show these dudes here who've showed up, who are these people from Nevada?
They're with the U.S. Forest Service.
U.S. Forest Service. Okay. So when stuff like this happens, is this protocol? How does this happen?
When it gets this big and we're stretched this thin and it's this dry, then yes, we can call in forces from other agencies.
Okay.
And so we do have the park. The Tennessee State Park is actually here also, because a lot of this is the Chickamauga North Chick, I think is what they call that, nature area. And so they're here also helping us fight the fire.
And then you have the Walden's Ridge emergency guys up there.
Yeah, the fire department is standby on the houses in case it gets to that point. But right now, no homes are threatened.
Okay, so you mentioned you have 2 lines, right? Is that what's going on?
We're total of 4 lines is what we're working on, but we have one on the top, one on the bottom, and we're working on the right flank.
Can you explain to people what that means, what a line is to put out a fire?
It is a fire break, and the fire has to have 3 things. It's called a fire triangle. You have to have fuel, oxygen, and heat. You take one of those away, the fire collapses. So we take away the fuel is what we do. So we're going in there and with leaf blowers and rakes and raking down, and actually with Pulaski's again, like we did on Robert's Mill, burying down into the ground, because again the duff is still burning. We haven't gotten any rain. We still have green trees falling, burning through the roots, and so we're having to really dig down deep to get it where we can't get dozers in. Where we can get dozers in, we're using that. So what the fire department does, they use water, and that takes away the heat, and that's how they collapse the fire triangle. So
what do you think, if you can let people know what to expect. What to expect over the next couple of days. You know, everybody woke up this morning, drove off the mountain, or just being downtown, and you can smell the smoke. You're wondering, where is this coming from?
Yes.
Is this serious? What would you say to people about what to expect going forward?
I would say they're still going to see more smoke. It's worse in the mornings because there's a thing called an inversion, which holds the smoke down. Then it lifts, and during the day, it kind of the smoke will start going back up. But in the mornings, I would say for a couple more weeks until we can start getting this down and we start getting some rain. You know, this is what we're going to be dealing with.
Okay. All right.
We had a question from a reader or a viewer. Which way is this spreading? Right, it doesn't look like it's very windy right now, so it looks like it's not going in any particular direction. But
yeah, it's going more towards the left flank, which
okay.
that's where the area that we burned before, so it's just going towards the black.
And there's not much fuel except for leaves that are falling, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that continue to pose a problem? Is the fact that it's fall and you keep getting new fuel
Yes.
every couple days, every time the wind blows?
That is why you see a lot of like Robert's Mill burned on and off for several weeks, and that is why, because we ended up having leaves fall and then it would just reburn, is what we call that. And so but it's still all in the containment lines, and that's one of the difference between us and the fire departments. The fire departments put the fire out when it's a house fire. But when it's a woods fire, we just contain it and then let it burn out on its own, because there's just no possible way that you can put it completely out.
As far as percentages of containment, can you tell us what is contained?
We're going with probably about a third.
Okay.
Is what we're estimating, and that changes, you know, just depending on the weather conditions.
Okay.
And just looking at this, you're still dealing with very steep slopes going up and down,
Extremely steep, and
which
that's our problem.
necessitates a lot of handwork with the rakes and everything, versus being able to use a bulldozer like maybe you'd prefer.
Correct. Yeah, we'd much rather prefer to using our dozers whenever possible, but with it being so steep, there's just no way. But we've got a dozer line on the top, and we're making our lines wide, really wide. And so that really the people who live on top, they don't need to be worried right now. There is nothing no homes are threatened right now.
So that's the most established line, is up on top.
Yes, that's our main, you know, we want to make sure we protect the homes. Then we'll worry about getting the sides and the bottom. And unless there's homes at the bottom, then we'll work on that. But our main objective is to make sure that the fire's not going to spread to anybody's house.
Do you think it would be okay to gain any of these guys' perspective on what they're doing here all the way from Nevada?
I think you could probably check with them.
Yeah.
Can they talk to these guys?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just thinking it'd be interesting to gain their perspective from being from somewhere else coming into this.
Now, I know we're at this fire, but can you talk at all about, I mean, the other fires? And I know I assume you're running around trying to keep an eye on all of them.
No,
they're
mainly they've
keeping you
been
working.
keeping me here.
Keeping you here?
Yeah, so, I mean, I know that we have crews. We have strike teams, which is from other parts of the state, that are out on some of the other fires. And
what do they do? They come out and establish a line real fast? And
yeah, they're just more help. Just more help. And they've got a dozer with them and experienced firefighters, wildland firefighters, and they just also help us. So
we have a viewer say, what about the fire in Polk County?
yeah, I don't know anything about that one right
Okay.
now. I think that's on the U.S. Forest Service. So,
That's the U.S. Forest Service.
yeah.
Is that the one in the Cherokee National? I can't remember.
Yeah, Cherokee National
Yeah,
Forest.
because we know we have a fire there too.
Yeah, you can go to burnsafetn.org, and that's TN for the initials of Tennessee, burnsafetn.org, and that'll give you some information and show you a map of where the fires are located and what fires are active and what all is going on. It's a very good web resource.
And for people, part of the issue that people keep mentioning to me is it's such beautiful weather. People want to go out and camp, and they want. And when you go out and camp, and then it starts getting dark, and then you want to make a fire. I mean, is
No
there
fires.
is there any safe way to do that right now?
No, there's really not. There's some areas that it's all gravel and all pavement, and you could, but it's the embers come off the fires and it'll start a fire. So we're just asking everybody to please do not even do campfires.
Yeah.
So it's no burn ban right now, just no permits, and asking people to please
Please
not
be
do
careful.
Yeah,
All right, we're gonna go. Leslie's got these
Okay.
guys over here. We'll go talk to them. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Thank you.
We're with the Times Free Press. Hey.
Hey there, we're live now.
Okay, so we were talking to the Tennessee Division of Forestry, Shannon Gann, who's
Actually, I'm
been
gonna shoot this way. 'cause
super
the sun-
helpful with all of these fires. Whenever we get word of this, we run out, we call her. But she mentioned to me, and that's where Seth's gonna come in, right? Yeah. So we have other resources that have stepped in this time to help. Do you want to tell people who you are and what your guys are doing here?
Yeah, we're from Ely, Nevada, and we're just over here to help out with wildland fires.
Okay. When we were asking Shane about this At what point do they call in people like you for this sort of thing?
When they run out of resources
Yeah.
and they can't get anyone, then they'll start pulling from different areas.
Okay. So you being from out west, seeing something like this, I mean, I know I have friends who are reporters who cover fires much bigger than this, that span a lot wider range, more dangerous. What do you think about what's going on here today? Evaluating.
Well, it's like normal fire to us.
Yeah.
We haven't been over here on the east side, so we don't know what it's like to fight fire over here. But
So what's the first step? You guys just arrived.
so we're waiting to get briefed, and then once we get briefed on what we're going to do, then just get to work.
Get to work. Okay. What would you tell people? Some people live up there. They say right now that no houses are in, imminent danger, but, obviously it's concerning to people who wake up and smell the smoke, see the smoke, the haze. What would you say that, there's a lot of resources on hand, or what would you tell people?
I wouldn't give comment, to be honest.
Until you evaluate it? Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. We just
Okay.
got here.
I have a question. Out west, as you noted, you get some pretty wide-ranging fires that you guys have to deal with. What are some of the ways you typically go after those?
With air resources like retardant helicopters with water buckets, and do hand crews, engines, just whatever's available.
And you work in mountainous terrain pretty often out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got some much larger mountains out there than we do here.
Yeah. So Ely itself is at 6,500 feet.
Oh man!
So and it goes up to.
So this air is thick and delicious. Then,
Yeah.
you can take deep breaths here without getting winded.
So our mountaintop, like our highest mountain that we have over there, is about 14,000 feet. So
Can you get a
we're used to
helicopter
all
up that
this.
high?
No. Well, you can, but it's just.
Not with water in it.
Speaking of helicopter,
Yeah,
see one right there. If you want to show people that.
It
It won't show up. We're too far away.
But he'll be back, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
It looks like a military.
Yeah, they brought in Blackhawks from the National Guard, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And there's a lot of other fires going on around this area, and we haven't received any rain in a long time, it seems like. So people are just really concerned, and it's
Seems
comforting
really
to know
dry
people
out
like
there.
you are here. Yeah, dry. Exactly. What's the largest fire you've been a part of putting out?
Oh, about 500,000 acres.
Where was that?
I had one in Utah that was that big, one in Idaho, one in California,
Okay.
just all over the place.
Okay.
And this one we're dealing with a few hundred acres here, but it has been, as they were saying, it's very difficult because of the steep terrain, and that, as you said, is something you guys have dealt with before. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of handwork typically goes into that, right?
Well, so what I gathered from out here is, it's turned fall, so dropping
leaves
all
are
the
falling.
leaves, and that's one thing we don't have to deal with back west.
Fall.
Right.
Well, we
Yeah.
don't have to deal with leaf litter.
Foliage. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely different.
So,
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time. People are, happy to hear that we have at least resources coming in from all over the place to help out with these things. So we appreciate your time. I know you guys. Who briefs you before you go up?
whoever's in charge of
The Forestry Division. Yeah. Okay. So we'll keep you guys updated. They need to get to work. I always hate taking up people's time like this who actually need to be doing something. So we're gonna be following the situation. All the fires, times3press.com, and then we have another big fire to talk about, which is the presidential election. So we're gonna get into that.
That's just a dumpster fire, though. That one's contained.
Yeah, that one's contained. I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to talk to actually a Trump delegate and a Hillary delegate a little bit later on this afternoon, and we'll be keeping track of all the fires, which way that is. Thanks, Seth.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it. Okay, let's walk right over here just to get a final view. So hopefully we provided some insight on the people who are dealing with this. Ellis and I, as reporters, he actually has some experience with all of this, but I just always want to talk to the people actually in the know, experts, to give you all at home the information you need rather than me just show you the fire. But we are going to go out showing you what we saw on our way in. And if you're just tuning in now, you know, please go back and listen to Shannon Gann with the Tennessee Division of Forestry, and then the U.S., I don't want to say their name incorrectly, the
U.S. Forest Service.
U.S. Forest Service, these guys from Nevada. Did I say it right? Did I say it right?
We are BLM.
Bureau of Land Management. Sorry.
Thank you. Bureau of Land Management. See? Trying to get all those titles correct. But so lots of hands on deck. And like I said, we're going to keep you updated with it all. And I'm going to step out and we're just going to kind of scan and, you know, certainly go back, like I said, to hear about all the information from the people in the know. Okay? Bye, you guys. Have a good day.